Hey, welcome back to the podcast. Today we're going to talk about some really important stuff. Some things, if you can understand this and follow this, you'll find yourself overall much more motivated, probably much more happy, less depressed, and overall a deeper fulfillment and enjoyment in life. And it's a very simple thing. Now, I do preface to say, right, consult your physician if you have any serious medical conditions before any change of diet. I am not a medical practitioner. I am a metaphysical practitioner. So this is not factual medical advice. This is all for entertainment purposes only. Results may vary. As a teacher, I'm only here to point you in the direction of self, to be able to understand yourself on a deeper level and take action from there. So welcome back to the Scorpio Scriptures podcast. I'm your host, Master J. This is where we talk about astrology, all things Scorpio related, and the expansion of consciousness. So today, we're going to expand on the consciousness of dopamine, discipline, aka mental mastery, aka the key to pleasure, the key to long-lasting success, and the key to what I believe a level of great happiness. So dopamine is that feel-good chemical in the body. Yes. We feel it a lot when we make love. We feel it a lot when we're stimulated. Feel a lot when you're hugging that person you love, holding her, holding him, kissing, embracing, things that make you feel good. Food that we eat, dopamine is released. When we make money or we succeed and we accomplish a goal, right, we release dopamine. But what I've learned about dopamine overall is it is something that needs to be controlled and something that needs to be regulated, because dopamine is actually, it is in the brain. And what I used to think it was released, right? It was released every time we accomplish something new, which is true, but it's actually stored up in the brain as a pool, like a neurotransmitter in a pool. So every time you release some dopamine, you actually have a certain amount. And when you release this dopamine, it takes a while to replenish. So it's almost like a baseline level of dopamine that is released. And then we go back to normal, then we release it again. So if you overexhaust your pool of dopamine, you can find yourself lacking motivation. So it's almost like a resource that you have to earn. But the problem with today's world is, there's a lot of cheap dopamine, there's a lot of free dopamine. And we can look at things like social media, drugs, sex, partying, alcohol, video games, being on the internet too much, looking at other people's lives, right? Looking at grandiose things. These can be seen as cheap dopamine because they don't accomplish anything and they actually lower your level of dopamine. So it's harder for you to enjoy life after, right? So this is why it's called dopamine discipline. And other things that release excess amounts of dopamine can be accomplishing a goal, winning, succeeding, perhaps having sex, right? Or a woman, sometimes they get married, right? And then they get a little depressed after because they were looking forward to their wedding the whole life. Or having a baby, right? Sometimes people experience depression from that. They finally had a baby, and the woman, that's not the main reason, but she goes through hormonal changes, other things in that. But they're like vacation. There's highs and lows that come with things. So I say dopamine discipline because you really want to be aware what you're spending your neurotransmitters on, what you're allowing to affect you. Things like excessive masturbation, pornography, they stimulate a lot of dopamine, but then people are lacking in motivation because dopamine is one of your biggest things that gives you motivation and reward. So people oftentimes lack motivation because they are using all these neurotransmitters on things that are what we call empty victories, empty wins. So I really want to point this out to you because your mental health and the things that you accomplish can really, really be changed just by the amount of dopamine that you have in your mind ready to be released, right? We want to feel good. We want to release dopamine when it's earned. But if you do things, the world today has made it so you can just get cheap bouts of dopamine. You can go on a website, start hooking up with people. You can look at internet porn. You can play a video game on your phone, Candy Crush or whatever, excessively to the point where your dopamine receptors are fried, and then you really have low motivation, right? You really have no low motivations. Things like alcohol, drugs, partying, all these things give you a spike in dopamine, then it extinguishes it. Now, what you want to do is, I'm not telling you anything really. I just want you to understand this. That maybe that's why I have trouble with motivation, right? So things like being on your phone all day really fry your dopamine receptors, make you not motivated to do anything. Texting, social media. You want to be aware of these things. Like my phone notifications, anyone that works with me. Right now I'm mentoring a family friend, and I tell them, you turn off all the notifications on your phone except the people that you love. Because the notifications on your phone, they spike dopamine and they train you like a monkey. The bzz, 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 I haven't heard that sound on my phone in years, and whenever I hear it, it's an emergency or it's from a loved one, right? So I turn off every single notification on the phone because you don't want to be like a monkey and get little spikes of dopamine. Because there are people that design these apps and these websites to really hijack your brain's psychology. And what I'm just teaching you is how to reverse it and understanding the way it functions, because your focus is your ultimate superpower in this world. And the phone is a great weapon, but also a great distraction, right? Many people live on their phone, and the phone is one of the main reasons why the new generations, they want to experience so much social anxiety, because they're living in this false world. And two, they're losing connection with people. We are more well connected than ever in this world, but we are more lonely and depressed in this world, because most communication and things happen over the phone. Most people live in their phone now, and it extinguishes all their dopamine. It gives them the pleasure of the dopamine they need, yes, but it doesn't give them the soulful part of life that we really require to connect with one another and to communicate with one another. So I recommend being very wary of your phone, because you're probably watching this on your phone, listening to this on your phone. I appreciate it a lot, but my goal for you is to expand consciousness and experience love. And you're not going to expand consciousness and experience love on your phone. You're only going to do that with another human being, right? AI and machines have all made it so easy to get things done, but it's made it more difficult than ever to connect with human beings in a soulful way, in a loving way, in a touching way. And that is one of the things that will affect your mental health the most. When we talk about dopamine discipline, it is being aware of all the things that the modern world has brought you and using these things as a tool and not letting them use you, right? Not letting them control you. Things like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all these things that pop up. They pop up and eventually they're going to control you. They're going to control you, right? The law of rhythm, Napoleon Hill in Outwitting the Devil, he talks about why so many people, only 2% of the people are not in control of the quote-unquote devil, basically not in control of their own mind. It is because the modern world has made it so easy to take people away off from center. To take people away from center, right? Spoiling our reward systems, junk food, dopamine, instant gratification, sex, pleasure. All these things are accessible so quicker to us, but our brain has not really evolved past the hunter and gathering days yet. So back in the day where you and I would find a fruit or something sweet like honey from a bee's nest, right? It was a reward to get to it. So the dopamine and the sweetness, our body found it as a reward, and it tastes so good. Yes, yes, delicious, right? We worked for this glucose, we worked for this sweet things. When would a caveman ever eat something sweet like honey, other than when he found a bee's nest, probably got stung a million times, and gave it to his family and they all ate it, right? Nowadays we have things like donuts, we have things honey chocolate, and that give us that same reward, but it's about a million times easier to get. I've never gotten stung by a bee buying a jar of honey from Whole Foods. You know what I'm saying? So all these rewards are readily accessible to us, and it quenches our natural drive to really live life and to go out there and to experience things like love and connection. So you want to be aware of these things. Dopamine discipline is very key for you to achieving love, happiness, and success in life, and getting to where you want, right? Having a good mental state is understanding that our brains have not evolved past cavemen so much, but our rewards are really out of proportion, what we call cheap dopamine. So you want to watch out for these things, and as you do this, you'll find that, wow, I am much more satisfied by things in life. The simple things in life, because that's really the things that will make us happiest. The simple things in life, saying hello to a family member in the morning before they go to work, you know, hugging them, kissing them, speaking to your family more often, enjoying love behind the scenes, not being on the phone all the time, right? Have you ever just spent an hour on Instagram and you just feel like you got a headache? Comment below if you know what I'm talking about. Spend an hour on Facebook, spend an hour on Instagram, and you start to get this headache. That's because your dopamine is being bombarded with things that it shouldn't be seen and at an unnatural level, and then it makes it harder to function. So I really want you to control your mind and to shoot your willpower and shoot your energy into something that is constructive, not destructive, because Scorpio scriptures, we're all about love here. I want you to experience the love that you deserve. But if your brain is fried already from overstimulation, then the love that you deserve might not feel like the love that you deserve, right? It might just feel like surface level, and that's a real thing you want to watch out for. That's the dangers of the modern world. We have so much at our hands, but sometimes too much of a good thing is just that of too much of a good thing.